Hello and welcome to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord Blog 8, Engine Power. This time, we've decided to make a video in order to demonstrate some of the features of our powerful new engine for Bannerlord and how they work in our all-new editor. As standard, all of the features shown in this video that we use to develop the game will be made available to modders. As you may already know, we use our own in-house engine for developing our games. This gives us greater flexibility and allows us to implement the engine features exactly as we want. One of the requirements we had for Bannerlord was to have much better graphics and animations without sacrificing gameplay or performance. Therefore, our engine team set out to create a much more powerful game engine that would satisfy our unique needs for our next game by supporting much larger maps, bigger, more complex battles, and have hundreds of agents acting independently in real time. In the editor, terrain elevation can be generated randomly or imported from a height map image. Likewise, materials can be imported directly into the editor, as you can see right now. As the various terrain types are imported, the layers of snow, rock, grass and earth come together to make a realistic environment, which has been prepared using a standard format. The terrain can also be sculpted and repainted from inside the engine. And here's the result: around 225 kilometers squared of mountainous terrain, much larger than any area in our previous games. We can also adjust the water level from inside the editor, tweak its opacity and color, with the result immediately visible. This makes it easy to tweak and adjust on the fly. As mentioned in our previous blogs, we have a tremendous amount of control over the atmosphere, with standard variables like fog density and color, wind, sun color, strength and position, as well as advanced features like Rayleigh scattering, Mie particle size, and post-FX options. The editor itself is a fully customizable professional tool. All of its elements can be switched on and off, scaled, snapped and tabbed into any position, and even separated into different windows, something that users with multiple monitors might make use of to maximize their view of the scene. Flora painting is something we've mentioned before, but it's illustrated much better in video. Here we're making use of the layer Flora option, where Flora can be added directly into a texture paint layer. This allows for adjustment of the Flora type and density to be made after painting it onto the terrain. Flora includes plants and trees, but the system also works well for brushwood, small rocks and mushrooms. The engine automatically snaps all Flora to the ground and morphs it for a natural effect, so the terrain can easily be re-sculpted even after adding Flora. This adds freedom to the workflow of creating a scene. Flora can also be added independently of paint layers, which tends to work better for big objects like trees. They can be placed individually with a hotkey, or painted to create forests in a matter of seconds. We can also paint custom materials directly onto objects placed in the scene. This provides extra freedom to the scene creator, since it's all handled inside the engine. It's a way to break up the repetitiveness of the wall texture by adding extra detail. This is particularly useful for adding wear and age to objects. Here is a demonstration of our decal system, being used to apply a simple puddle onto the ground. This projects directly onto the terrain, allowing for an easy addition of unique details with no clipping errors. The engine also includes a class system for objects that use special scripts, just like these turning sails on the windmill. Parameters of the script can also be changed inside the editor. Rotation speed in this example. There are more advanced uses for this feature, beyond simple motion, but we'll save talking about those for another time. Tessellation allows us to achieve super high levels of detail by adding extra geometry nearer the camera. With the wireframe activated, you can see how the engine only adds detail where it will be visible, while distant terrain stays at a low polygon count for optimal performance. Thank you for watching our 8th Bannerlord developer blog. For the latest info and updates, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Hello everyone. I have some news. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is right here.
Oh, here we are.
I'm joined by Stan and Frank from TALEWORLDS, who'll be taking us through basically the demo that you've now practiced on the stage and now delivering to a very excited group of internet people.
We're excited too. The hype is very much real right now. Chat is getting seriously into it, so we can't wait. And it's just exciting because it's like live gameplay as well, so anything can happen at the same time.
This before on our stage downstairs, right?
No, this is the biggest chunk of live gameplay we've ever shown to the public. We did like press things last year, but this is like public live gameplay from the new game, so it's super exciting.
And this is coming directly to you for the first time, ish. 40 minutes of gameplay of Mountain Blade.
Yeah, 40 minutes.
And I'm going to let you guys lead this one because I'm kind of excited because I played a lot of Mountain Blade as well. So
yeah,
should we get to let's just get into it. Let's see.
Okay, brilliantly. So I mean, I get the feeling that most people watching right now know what Mountain Blade is.
Yeah, but it might be worth going into.
Just in case, what it is, it's like a medieval sandbox sort of world which like combines action, RPG, strategy, and simulation, right? So it's a strange and interesting mix of genres, but it comes together in sort of compelling, unique ways. It all interconnects and will sort of show how that works through the demo, and also the improvements that we've made in Bannerlord itself. Bannerlord, of course, is Mountain Blade 2, so it's like our first full follow-up to like the previous titles in the series. It's a sequel, so it's set 200 years before the events of Warband. We've got a bigger map, bigger battles, and all sorts of just exciting new features in the game as well. So let's get started, right?
Yeah, awesome. I like both the banner and the Lord.
The banner and the Lord, yeah, of course.
Good.
We've delivered on both fronts so far.
We're done. Got it straight away. Awesome. So what are you like? Okay, we're on the world map straight away.
Okay, so this is like a save that we're loading in to sort of show you some of the sort of later gameplay rather than what you start off with. Normally you start off as like a sort of nobody in the world, right? And you just have to carve your own destiny and become someone in the world. We're actually a lord right now.
Oh wow.
So we're like a lord of the Britannian faction, which is like inspired by kind of Pictish, sort of Welsh, kind of Celtic kind of inspired faction that we have, which is new to the game. But before we get into the demo and talk about the game itself, we're actually going to go and customize our character, right?
Yes,
and
let's do it.
Find someone to play with. So I'm going to take the reins here.
So this is a feature.
Wow. And yeah, Stan's going to tell us. Okay, sorry.
This is a feature that we're very excited about showing. Since Mountain Blade is an RPG, making your own character, customizing your appearance is very important, and we spend a lot of time making our customizable options both detailed and realistic. So we have, if you go to the body type please, we have two different sliders for changing our body type, weight and build. We can also change skin color, we can switch between voices, and of course you can play female or male. We have of course a bunch of hairs and beards. We can switch between our eyebrows, teeth type as well. Which shows us another feature which is new in Bannerlord, facial animations. Although this isn't completely put into the game in all situations just yet, it's fully supported in the engine whenever we want to. So another thing about the GUI is that we've designed it so that it's made to get quick results. You can go into each part of the face and randomize, or you can randomize all on this button. So we have prepared a few phases that we're excited to show.
You want to take over?
Yes. Let's just go through.
Just start with 4, shall we?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, okay, I'm doing it.
Start with 4. Okay, all right.
This maybe some people would recognize. And we have this guy. And this guy, most people would recognize, I think.
It's the like the burlap sack pants that really make that one.
So as you can see, the face customization tool is already very powerful, although this is a work in progress. And we're very much looking forward to see what our creative players can do with this as well. And we're going to make it very easy for players to share and save their creations between each other.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's a hell of a jawline.
also have this guy. I will finish what you started.
And so because this is like, this is the generic system that we use all of our characters in the game, right? It's not just the player character, all of the characters that we have in the game use this. So it's really important that we can sort of create this kind of diversity and have a really powerful tool that we can use to make interesting looking characters that the player sort of interacts with and remembers. So that's really been our goal with this, what we've been making as well.
Another goal has also been making the entire workflow with this, giving the player complete and full control. Another slider will never move when you move one slider. So it's very easy to get into and be creative, and it's very important to let the player be full creative.
So presumably you use this to create characters that you've designed, but is the randomization function also used to generate NPCs?
Yeah, we also have, we can like we have randomize it. We can sort of have like make that specific as well. So like culturally, we'll get sort of people from different factions will sort of look a different kind of way, have like different sort of like specific sort of traits and features that you recognize from the different cultures as well. So that's like it supports that completely. So, all right then. So let's pick a face and
which one do you want to play as?
Let's go with 6. That's pretty good. Yeah,
looking pretty good. Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so as we jump into the world map now, what you can see here is it's similar to what we have in the previous games. It's a familiar kind of style of world map. Obviously, we've made it look much prettier, added a lot of detail. If we zoom out a little bit, what we can see is the names here, obviously the names of the different settlements and various locations in the game. And so when you're on the world map, you're still traveling between those, it's between battles and the various other interactions and gameplay aspects of the game. Over on the west, where we have the, in red, it's the Valandian faction. And this is sort of the spiritual ancestors, sort of Swadia and the Rhodoks. Right. They're actually enemies with us in this game, and so these are the faction that we're going to go over to, find one of their lords, and hopefully take them out in a big old battle. That's what we're going to work towards through the demo and show at the end. So right now, let's jump back to our own character. Still the same thing with the previous games. We click on the world map just to move around. As we move, everyone else moves. It's like simultaneous movement, right? So it's still very much Mountain Blade. I mentioned before that we're a lord in this faction. We don't have a very lordly host right now, though. It's just four of us and our companions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a local town, and we're going to bring a garrison that we have there back into our party, and then go around as a larger army for the large fight itself. So let's head towards Dunglanis, very sort of Welsh-sounding name that we have for one of the towns of Britannia. So we showed off a little bit of our map before. We really tried to work hard on making it look prettier, also present more information as well. So you can see like around these villages, you get information about what they're producing. This is like a tanning area as well, so it's producing leather hides, that kind of thing. If we just pause here as well. So we see that we have this small party of 7 troops, and what it is a bandit party, right? Mountain bandits, and what mountain bandits do, or any bandits, is they're bullies. So they're picking on our peasants and they're disrupting the flow of our economy. So what we want to do is
chasing peasants there, right?
No, that's more bandits actually. We're infested right now.
And it's chasing the bandits.
Yeah, but we'll let's get to a fight with these mountain bandits and try and take them out. We're actually slightly outnumbered, but relying on Sten's ability here, we should hopefully see us through. We're sort of pretty well equipped as well, so let's just jump straight into the fight, I think. We could talk about what we can see here a bit later on. And so we have like this, we have like a good 2-handed sword, we have a horse, we have some decent gear, and hopefully we can win this fight. So I mentioned already, it's like action RPG strategy and simulation. And what we have in the battles is the action part of the game. It's still the player skill is what counts. When you shoot an arrow, it's all physically calculated. So if the arrow hits someone, that's what does damage. Nothing to do with your character. It's all still your action gameplay, and that's what's rewarded.
This is a lovely looking forest, by the way.
Yeah, of course we have a lot of variety in our scenes now as well. So because it's like Britannia, we have like loads of forests around here, and it's obviously reflected in the scenes when you jump into battle. We also have things like the spanning steppe and the deserts and the tundra in the north. Nice. Absolutely lobotomizing. Okay, and so our companions doing pretty well. Actually, they've been taken out. Oh my god.
Come on.
Come on.
I got it.
Hold out. Okay, so we've got this big weapon, right? It's still the mountain blade combat. You have a lot of direct control over your swings and
I like that your name is Phil.
And so it's kind of we won?
No, this guy left.
Okay, so we can take out our bow. Obviously, still have first and third person mounted. This one's got a great variety of weaponry as well. He went full Boromir there. Okay, so brilliant work. We took him down. You can see we have our big 2-handed sword right here. If we just show off how the combat's still working, the blocks and the attack directions the same way. but we sort of deepened it and tried to make it a bit like harder to master at the same time. We've had lots of new animations, made it look smoother and more attractive as well. Let's jump out of the battle then. Oh yeah, we had a bit of information here. We can show this in the larger battle list screens and the detail we get there. Let's grab the bandits, prisoner. So fortunate enough to survive, but unfortunately not fortunate enough to avoid a life of slavery as when we set them off. Let's head on there and we can loot some of their gear as well. Rough fur armor, that looks pretty good. Let's grab that, that's cool. Sweet. Okay, nice.
Alright, let's continue into Dunglanis.
Yeah, alright.
Okay.
So,
So when you enter a city, this is what you get. A menu of options. You can join the tournament directly or visit the tavern or go to the castle and speak to lords. We've improved these screens from our previous games. Now you can see which people are in the city, and you can also see information about the city, its garrison and the population's morale. Now the reason we give all these options is because it's always up to the player if she wants to explore or not. And we reward these in different ways in Bannerlord as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about it later. For now, we're going to pick up our companion and the troops which we have garrisoned with him here. And he is in the tavern.
You can see he's in the tavern from right there, so.
Now the taverns and other parts of the cities as well, we've worked a lot on creating atmosphere and making the world feel more alive of Calradia. And townspeople, companions, travelers, they're all coming into the tavern and drinking together. You can also sit with them. If you sit next to this guy, he'll turn towards you and like hang out with you. There's also, since this is a Battanian town, you will see Battanian architecture, people wear Battanian clothes, they play Battanian music, and you can even play a Battanian type board game, which we have board games for all different cultures.
6 different board games.
Yes. It's a way you can earn money. You can also play with lords while discussing politics. So we're going to pick up our companion and our troops, and we're also going to ask him to follow us because we're going to need him in the town later.
So this is sort of one of the ways that we're really adding to the things that you can do in towns as well. So we've made the towns much more bigger and more interesting, but there's also much more gameplay there as well. There's much more things to do.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you, as we walk through a town, one of the ways in which you can sort of are rewarded for exploring around different areas. So as we head out of the tavern, we find ourselves in the centre of this Battanian town of Dunglanis, and what we can do before we do anything else actually is we can ask him to run around and gather up all of our companions in the town. So he does that. Oh, wow. He does that like live. He's going to go run and get them. They're going to start running. So he's
back.
One was just saying
like a relay race.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to start heading around and picking up everyone else as well. But while he's doing that, we can walk around the town and take a look at the marketplace as well. If you have a look up there, you can see the castle. So obviously that's where the lord is. We can go up there, speak to him.
The verticality of it feels very different to
it's a brand new engine, so graphically obviously the graphic fidelity is vastly improved over the previous game, and there's so much more detail and attention paid to the scenes, and you can really feel the culture with all of our immersive like different features that we have, like so much of the music and all of this like great feeling of being in like a Battanian town that we have right now. This is the marketplace, and obviously you can go there, speak to the sellers, you can buy and sell goods, of course yourself. These sellers are sort of, they're like the town sellers, right? So the profits that they make, a cut of those goes to the local lord. Mm-hmm. We also have private enterprise, and we're going to sort of talk a bit about that in a second as well. So that's like a new feature in the game. Is everyone with us?
Yeah, they're all here. All our guys.
Okay,
so we're ready to show another new feature which we're very excited about as well.
Highly player requested. It's crime.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So let's sort of see how this works in the game.
You want to try to mess them up?
I'm going to take over.
Right.
There's a lot of them.
So as you can see here, there's some thugs here that has taken over this part of the city, and basically what you can do is that you can mess them up and make sure that no crime is going on here.
Let's provoke them, right?
Yeah, let's provoke them. Let's take this part of the town from them.
Go. He didn't last long.
Yeah, our companion's doing pretty well actually, I think. Nice. Oh, sweet.
Good job. You really murdered those guys.
Yeah, they did much better than against the mountain bandits.
Yeah.
So now we can place one of our own companions here, since they're all still alive. We couldn't do it in the last demo we did because
yeah, well, they were killed.
So that will stop other thugs from coming and creating crime. So we're sort of helping the economy to be stabilized in the city. What we also can do, which is completely new as well, of course, if we have a companion that has the trait of being sort of criminal, we can start our own criminal enterprise here and take money for ourselves. And since we're part of this faction and we know this lord who owns the city, that would cause a strain in our relationship if he would find out. So, but we don't care about that right now.
But if you're ultimately interested in like destabilizing a city, you could start crime there first.
Yeah,
it's a great way to earn money, particularly early in the game.
That's cool.
Yeah, so now we got some dudes here.
Yeah, these are also on there. Okay, so now that we've covered the sort of the illegitimate business of the game, we can look a bit more at the more legitimate side of things in the private enterprise I mentioned before. So the shops that are inside buildings, these are privately owned, and they can be owned by, they could of course be owned by the local lord, but they could be owned by another lord, right, or a merchant, or the player. And so you can buy these, and they're also really dependent on local supplies. It's blacksmith, and what it's doing is it's getting a supply of iron ore from local villages, turning it into weapons, and then selling them to caravans, and then trading around the map. So we have a really sort of fully simulated working economy, and that's really important if you want to make a lot of money in the game. You want to set up some of these businesses and get your income flowing. Because the blacksmith, of course, what we have here, it's crafting. This is a new feature. We showed this a little bit last year, but now we get to make a weapon live. What would you like us to make? We can show you a few different options here. We have this for all our melee weapons right now.
This feature is lovely, and it's so mountain blade as well, because every part fits everywhere. We have different options we can randomize here and just see different swords. And the combinations we have is millions.
Yeah, I mean, this blade and sword type presumably has a direct bearing on how those things play and what they're appropriate for.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we can have any different kind of part, so it's like blade, handle, blade guard, handle, and pommel for the swords. And so like you can like any part fits with any different kind of part as well, so it's like fully customizable. And of course the different parts have their own physical properties, right? So we're making a rather sort of very mountain blade-esque sandbox calculation when it comes to it. We can sort of optimize things for reach, and we can sort of scale the blade up as well. We have like that other control. We can go for
scale a bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a sword and we're gonna bring it into battle and kill some Vlandians.
Yeah, okay.
So what kind of weapons should we make?
Can we make like a bastard sword?
Yeah, two-handed sword.
Yeah.
Two-handed.
Or like a
Yeah, that's cool.
one
Let's
or
go
two.
for it.
Yeah.
And so you can go for like reach, speed, or whatever, or you can just you can try and balance things out to get like the best of both worlds.
I think it would only be appropriate to set every single slider to maximum.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Maximum sword.
Maximum sword. But we can call it maximum sword as well. That's
right,
completely possible. Okay, let's max everything we have.
We have one more left.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait, this guy.
Okay.
So let's name it
Maximum sword. And then we can, we're also going to take this with us in the battle. We can use it to fight, and it's, if we can type it out.
Turkish keyboard.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
All right.
Worth every penny, worth every dinner.
Yeah, worth every gem. We can also take a look at this as well in the inventory. We have like much more control. We can inspect items, take a good look at things. It's all just like we just thought about what the player needs and what the player wants from the UI, and just tried to do it. You know, we've really improved on Warband and other games in that aspect, I think.
All right.
That's the sort of affected by the fact that we slid everything to top.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Everything
it's heavier.
Yeah. And so you can go for the one which you think looks nicest, or you can really focus on the stats side of things as well. It's totally up to you. All right, so we have our party, we have our men, we have our maximum sword, and what we're going to do now is head towards the Vlandian Empire, and we're going to find a lord on the border, and we're just going to have a big fight with him, basically.
Great, sounds good.
Of course it does. This is like a staple of the game, right? It's the huge battles. Before we do that, we're going to speak to an allied lord though first. And what we're going to do is get him to follow us, because we're still a sort of reasonably small party. We have like 60-odd people, so we have the appropriate name Gowig there. He's a real veteran of the faction, you can tell.
He looks really happy.
Yeah. He's perfectly showing off our facial asymmetry that we have in the game as well. This is the total option we have that we added into the game. Okay. Oh yeah. One thing to mention here as well. You can see on the screen right now. So this dialogue option, it has the 100i factor. This is like a new currency we've had in the game. It's called influence. And so what it is, it's like the power you have to request things from other lords in your faction. So by doing things and completing tasks in your faction of following armies, fighting in battles, you gain influence. And sort of by being a sort of a high-ranking lord as well, you get influence gradually and it accumulates. And you can use this to do various things like get lords to follow you and sort of command. It's like an IOU, I suppose, really. And you earn that, and then you can spend it in a sort of a direct way.
So now he's following us on the map where we go. They're happy to follow us for a couple of days at least.
But they will eventually say, like, we need you to do something before.
Yeah, of course. And if they're like busy with something else as well, they'll just like outright reject it.
Right.
So we're gonna find the Lord from another faction, and he would be here in the outskirts of the other faction which we are at war at, Vlandia. And we're gonna try to defeat him in a large battle.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Just gonna wait for daylight.
Alright, so this is Ekerund, and he's a Vlandian lord. He's got a great face. And you can see because he's an enemy lord, he's already quite hostile. But at the same time, we slightly outnumber him, so he's not actually going to try and directly engage us. We're going to have to deliver our terms to him, and we're the aggressor in this fight. So let's just provoke him. We don't care. Yield or fight. We'll force his hand and get straight into his battle. So we saw this screen before, but now it sort of comes into its full purpose a little bit more. We get information about both parties, the total number of troops. And we can see which different parties are involved in the battle as well. So when you have sort of larger battles with multiple parties involved, you want to see all the troops and all the kind of more information so you can make a better decision and plan out your strategy beforehand. We give you that information now without you.
Okay.
All right, so into the battle.
A little bit, so
this is like. Wait, let's go. Chris, go see it.
Let's go.
You go? Yeah. Okay, so obviously, you know, in large battles, they're a staple of Mount and Blade, right? And obviously, we have more troops than we've ever had in any game, any of our games before. But in addition to that, we've really tried to make sure that they are interesting, varied, and exciting every time as well. So you've got our new armor there we're wearing. What's your game plan here?
All right, let's first scout a little bit and see what the other guys are doing, our opponents. I can see them, and they're defensive player Ekerund. So he's of course he wants the high ground, and he doesn't need to come further to us because he's the defender and we're the attacker. So I'm gonna have to come to him if I want to battle him.
So what we do is we've got much more advanced AI working here. They look for high ground, they hold that. They don't want to give it up easily, so it's going to be sort of on us to find a way of approaching and assaulting him, and this sort of difficult defensive position that he's set up for himself. We have much more sort of detailed command options as well. We can sort of create formations by dragging them on the world map, or the game map, sorry. And we have some pretty decent troops as well. We've got battalions, so our strength is really in our longbowmen. But at the same time, we've got a good core of cavalry. You can see Gowig there, along with the horseman front. Because he's following us, that makes us the commander of the battle this time.
So in previous playthroughs in the demo, we've gone from the right. I'm going to go from the left this time. Let's try something new. I never tried another tactic. So I'm hoping we will win.
You can see Ekerund as we move around. He's sort of changing his formation. Right? He's changing to face us and make sure that he's ready for whatever we do.
First day I died, but that actually was great because it gave us the opportunity to show off another feature which we have. The battle continues.
Let's hope we die again.
Yeah.
Okay.
The battle continues
that's
even
this
though.
is horribly wrong.
If I would die, my troops, since there are more of them, and if I give them the order of charging, then probably.
Dude, you're gonna get shot in the.
You are charging.
You want to get back. What are you doing?
I'm gonna put all my men here. See?
Well, this is still Mount and Blade, so we're still completely vulnerable.
Yeah, an arrow in the head is still an arrow in the head.
Yeah, we're not wearing a helmet right now, so this is like.
That's right.
There's still no fantasy, no tricks or special options for the player. You're still very much in the fight, and it's still like. Every character has its own AI, their own behavior, so you can fight one of them and they'll have a meaningful fight with you because they're controlling their own blocks and attacks. Now we have much more developed sort of like grand AI as well, so they're thinking much more tactically about what to do.
You can see the AI is always responding to whatever I'm doing when I'm moving my troops, wherever I am. They will change dynamically and see what I'm doing.
So should we let's try and bait him down off the hill, I think.
This is a good bit, because if they want to run away later, then we'll have to run upward hill. So
I think we should send our archers forward.
Yeah,
and then what we can try and do is, if he spots that they're sort of too far away from the group, he'll recognise that and sort of go for a charge. That's what we want.
As a vulnerability.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to do. You can see now he's moved some horsemen over here. We're actually having a bit of an archer fight right now. His horsemen coming over to attack. Yeah, okay, so it looks like we provoked them into a charge now. They're starting to come down.
They're coming down the hill.
Okay, pull them back. Oh my god, no! Get out! Oh god. Okay, so we've pretty much sacrificed our archers there. Let's get everyone else to charge in. What are we doing now?
Those guys didn't get what they signed up for.
Okay, our archers, we pretty much used them rather awfully there, but at the same time, that's going to give us the opportunity to fight Ekrund a bit off his hill.
Can we see him?
Ekrund, yeah, we can try to take him out. That'd be fun. Where is he?
There we go.
There he is. Let's try and track him down.
Maximum sword.
Maximum sword, yeah.
Maximum sword because
Give him maximum pain. So we see the fight is sort of broken out into full chaos now.
Yeah, he's actually rode straight through it and gone through the other side.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. he's out of there. There he is.
There he is. Tactically passive, individually suicidal.
Windward.
He's really...
He's doing alright actually.
Okay.
We just try and take him down.
I totally lost him by the way.
So we have like interesting other AI features here as well. So like the troops, if they are sort of they feel that they're being drawn too far away from their formation, they'll like run back into it and they'll feel like they need to self-preserve and kind of stay alive.
So they won't just break up the formation for no reason.
No, exactly. But obviously, if we send archers forward, they pretty much have to follow that command. And,
even if they are all going to die.
They were like lambs to the slaughter, essentially. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing pretty okay. I think the slight number of advantage we had and the troops that we had.
Well, you spend your number advantage.
Yeah, we did. But I think that's just about seeing us through. We have a two-handed sword as well, so the shield's not much good. I think we're doing okay, are we?
That arrow looks painful, I'm not gonna lie. Where's he gone? The Lord.
Here he is.
No, that's not him.
That's just a man.
Ekrund might have been taken out. Actually, we can bring up the tactical screen and see exactly how things are going.
Ekrund is he's still alive.
Ekrund is still alive.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. Obviously, we have like a amount of improved physics as well in the game. You know, it's a brand new engine, so we can do much more interesting things. We have like horses will sort of like push you to one side, even if they don't go over. You'll feel like the weight of various sort of tactical approaches. So like a big heavy formation of infantry, they will be like essentially pushing the enemy forward as well. So you really feel like the weight of like using these formations and using them effectively, essentially.
This is going really well.
Yeah, it has gone really well. I think our troops have seen
that was an amazing bait and switch, literally. Like, yeah. I always thought spending your archers' lives simply to get a man off a hill wasn't worth it, but you proved me wrong.
We'll have to recruit some more, I think, later.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes.
So obviously our troops are now accelerating, and we've got an arrow to the elbow.
He really doesn't look like he might.
Yeah. And so we get some information we sort of brought up a second ago about the battle and what happened. We can see how many kills all of our different kind of troops has got, so we get more like detail here about which of our troops are effective, and we get more feedback about how the fight has gone.
I think you lost Azadon.
See how I did? I killed 2 people.
Oh yeah, they got knocked out. Gawig, he took someone down. It's not bad. Good old Gawig.
We did well. Like that one trained infantry killed 17 people.
Our battalion footmen were very.
No, that's just like that's the whole troop. That's
okay,
all
it's like one guy. Holy hell. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So we can of course again now we get to take them prisoner. Ekrund got away.
Yeah.
But obviously, if we take him once again, we can use him, ransom him, make some money, and because we have like more interesting and detailed like political mechanics in our game. So what we can do is we can take Ekrund and we can not just ransom him, we can try and ransom him to a family member or something. We can try and make more money by sort of using the politics that works within our game. We can specifically do that, and the game will respond to it and give you an interesting result as well. Okay, fantastic. Nice. Okay. Alright, this is good, I think.
Yeah.
Nice. That looks more safe.
Yes. Yeah. Alright, brilliant. So Ekrund is defeated, and obviously this is going to help advance the Battalion war effort, right? Because now Ekrund he could potentially, he's feeling more pressure from his faction to do well because he's not able to support a large army anymore. So he might have to like really tax his peasants, and that's going to cause him problems later down the line because they might revolt, and then he sort of, it's essentially, it's going to cause him problems if he wants to improve and advance in his faction. You know, if he's thinking of becoming like marshal or whatever, he's not going to be able to influence the other lords to do that if he's having to sort of rebuild his forces and you know, drive his peasants to exhaustion.
It's cool that his defeat doesn't simply mean, oh, you beat him. It has a big impact on the simulation as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's so much more deep the way that everything is really internet connected in this game as well. I mean, you know, we could go and find his village, and we can, if he doesn't stop us, of course, kill every single peasant that comes from his village to his town, and then that's going to just really starve out his economy and really cause him problems. And you'll see that in his army as well. He'll have weaker troops, fewer troops, and he'll just be put under much more pressure as a result of that as well.
That's amazing.
Okay, so that's everything we have to show for the time being. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing how far the simulation's developed. Because the game looks a lot better, but it's still familiarly Mount & Blade.
It is, yeah.
The kind of fundamental level. But the most exciting changes, to me at least, maybe chat feels differently, seem to be taking place in how much that economic simulation.
Chat's great. I mean,
I don't know what okay, cool. But like, how much the economic simulation is actually powering like the war effort, the strategic side of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's really important. I mean, like, and you sort of, you feel it as well in sort of in what happens with trade, because if you're sort of too much in war, you're also missing out on a lot of trade as well. So you need to make sure that your faction is making good money, because that's how you, like, you know, the lords have the same constraints that the player do, and they have to pay the wages, they have to feed their army, and they have to do everything that the player does in order to actually maintain a good, strong force. So everything else is really important. You know, all the cogs of their economy are really important to be working for them.
Given that, I mean, you showed us is like mid-late game sort of status for the player.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like mid-game very much. I mean, we have the first stage before you become like a vassal or a noble, and then you have like the noble stage, and then if you sort of really take it to town, or you can start your own faction and become a king, obviously, of course, in this game as well.
Is the intent to kind of get players to that status a little bit quicker? Because anecdotally, my experience in Mount & Blade is often that you spend a lot of time at that kind of early level, kind of like as a sort of very minor player. Not that that's bad, but like...
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, like, you can just play it how you want to play it, right? You can start off and become a criminal, and you can sort of take any sort of approach you want to sort of power and money success. But we have tried to engineer it in a way that you can, if you want to get to that stage, there are smarter and faster ways to get there as well. One thing we have is like a main storyline now, and kind of one of the goals of this is, in addition to sort of building up the lore of the game and like telling the players more about the world of Calradia that we've created, it's also to sort of introduce the player to the mechanics and sort of drive forward some early game progress if you want to go that route as well with the main storyline. So,
like, you guys are at this stage, and it seems pretty advanced, like in terms of how much of the game and the core gameplay of Mount & Blade you're able to show today. Like, what's next for you as developers, and kind of like what's next for the game generally?
In terms of what we're going to be showing?
Yep, showing, building, making, talking about.
Right. Well, of course, Siege. You know, we're going to be coming with Siege very, very soon. We're doing very exciting things, and it's super cool. I mean, we've talked a bit about it and some of the pictures that are in it, but we can't wait to just show off a Siege and have it look great and everything. You know.
Given that chat has been very vocal about when they get to see Bannerlord, I kind of feel like I have to ask, when are they going to get to see Bannerlord again?
Hopefully, I mean, we're aiming to give it to the players in some shape or form this year.
Sometime this year we want to have it in players' hands. That's what we're shooting for.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a promise, but that's what we really would love to do. Absolutely.
So hypothetically, would you be putting it into players' hands early?
Yeah, potentially. That's what we're thinking about. I mean, there will probably be some kind of testing at some point.
Cool. Great. Guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Can we just say...
of course, yeah.
I mean, you know, obviously thank you to PC Game for having us at the event. It's been great. We've loved it. But we also want to say, you know, thank you to all the players and for your enthusiasm and stuff like that. We're excited to see your reaction as well. And
definitely.
Enthusiasm is always great for the game. We really do appreciate all the support we have from our players. They're great.
Yeah. No, seriously, thanks to them.
And very handsome, you know. And obviously,
thanks to our players. I mean, the game project started with only 2 people, and over the years it has grown into a larger company, and we're here now, and it's all thanks to the player base. So we just want to say really thank you all.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for being patient and waiting for this to be on stream, because, you know, I was really looking forward to seeing it too, but so glad to have you guys on and to have this opportunity to like see the game for the first time. So yeah, Sam, Frank, enjoy the rest of your show. I guess you're done now. You can go and roam the show floor and enjoy it.
I think so.
I'm done as well now, which is nice. We're all done.
Oh, brilliant.
Actually, I'm not done. I've got to go downstairs to do a Q&A, so I'm not done at all. But anyway, what you're going to do.
It's still nice.
And if you tuned in for the live stream over both days that we've been doing this, all the developers we've been talking to in different games we've seen, thank you very much for watching. This was PC Gamer Weekender, and I can't think of anything else to say. So bye, and thanks for watching.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce to you Frank and Sten from TALEWORLDS and Phil Savage from PC Gamer. We're going to talk to you about Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Okay, everyone. So who here has played a Mountain Blade game before? Oh, that's a lot of hands. Okay, but a few weren't raised. So I guess before we kick off, do you want to just sort of explain what Mountain Blade is?
Most people seem pretty familiar with the game already, but just for those of you who don't know, Mountain Blade, it's a medieval sandbox game, and it incorporates elements of action, RPG, strategy, and simulation. So it's a sort of very unique mix of different gameplay genres. There's a lot of role-playing. It's quite a hardcore PC game, and we're very pleased to be showing it here in this kind of format because we get to talk about it, hopefully get some of your questions at the end as well. And it's, please just bear in mind, this is a live demo. This is the current game in its, its current state. There might be a bug or two, but hopefully everything goes well. And there's a lot of new stuff here that we're showing you from Bannerlord.
Excellent.
Okay, so I'm going to be over to the computer right now. We're both going to be playing and talking about it as we go through the demo. And Phil's going to be asking us some questions throughout. If I can just navigate my way here. Okay.
Do we have sound?
Do we have audio? All right. Okay, so we're good. Have you set the date? Special settings being put into place. PC Gamer Day 1.
I take it that code won't work in the live game.
No. Okay, let's jump into a new game. What we're actually doing is loading a save game here. We're going to tell you what we're doing and where we're headed with it once we get started with the demo. But the first thing we want to do is we want to make ourselves a face to play for the demo with.
Right, so, okay. So this is a feature that we're very excited about and have worked a lot on. It's a big part of role-playing to be able to change your character's appearance. So we've had really fun making our customizable options detailed and realistic. It's still a work in progress, but it's turning out just like we want it. And one of our goals have been to give the user absolute control, just like any other Mountain Blade feature. We have body type sliders, 2 of them, to change the body build and body weight. And we also have ability to change our skin color, age, and voice even, which is cool in multiplayer. And we also divided up the GUI. We designed it so that we can have quick results by randomizing all, and we can also go into specific parts of the face and randomize them on their own, which is very useful for creating, for example, unique eyes, so you get your eyes. So another thing that is completely new in Bannerlord is animations on the face. It's not fully implemented everywhere in the game yet, but it's all laid out in the engines, so we can support this in conversations and in battle, basically everywhere we want. Of course, we also allow every player to customize their character fully in multiplayer. So you will all have access to this tool, and this is the tool we use to create our unique characters in Bannerlord as well, and also our generated characters. So to demonstrate a little bit of the power we have in this character customization in Bannerlord so far, I prepared a few faces, and let's go through them. Maybe you can recognize one of them. And this guy. Let's go this one.
So you can see we've really put together a very powerful tool. And this is really important for us when we're developing the game because, as Sten mentioned, every single character in the game uses the same system. So we need that diversity and also the ability to make charismatic, interesting characters as well. Obviously, the animation, again, since it's a generic system, we can animate all the characters in our game, and that's the benefit of using a standardized system for all the characters as well. Okay.
This is our Fast and Furious character.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also have this guy.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't read. Let's have. As you can see, we're already able to create very cool-looking characters, and we're so looking forward to see our creative players' own creations. And we will make this tool so that it's easy for every player to save their own faces and also share them in between each other.
Okay.
Let's have Phil choose a character. Maybe.
Yeah. Any preferences?
Anyone you like specifically that we should continue on as?
We'll continue with the Star Wars vibe.
Guy.
That's good.
Looks good.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's jump back into the game then. All right, so now that we've got our game face on, let's take you a little bit through about what you can see here right now. If we zoom out, this is the overworld map, right? So it's the same as the previous games. We have an overworld map. It's Calradia, but expanded more to the east and to the south. The names on the map represent the different factions, the different settlements and towns, and so they're color-coded by the different kingdoms. Over on the west, we have the kingdom in red, which is Vlandia. It's sort of our Western European-inspired faction. They have heavy knights and sort of chivalric type medieval faction there. We're actually at war with them in our current save. We're a vassal of the Southern Empire. So what our plan is to head over to this faction and have a big battle with the Lord, take them out and advance the Southern Empire war effort. So let's jump back to our character.
Sounds good.
And this is our party. You can see we have 4 people in the party, represented by the number 4. It's purple for the Southern Empire. But this is not a big enough army to fight a battle with, right? So we've got to go get our garrison. It's over in the town of Ortisia, just south of this river. The way movement works is, when we click on the map, time progresses, right? So it's simultaneous movement, same as the previous games. And when we stop, time pauses. It's just the same as the previous games. Let's head over towards Ortisia then and pick up our troops. There's a new feature actually in Bannerlord as well. You can garrison your troops in different towns, allied towns. That also help defend it in a siege, and it allows you to go and take care of a personal task or a quest, move around with a smaller party if you need to.
And is that like an automated process then if you've garrisoned someone and they attack?
Yeah, if your garrison is in an allied town, they'll join the defense in the siege. Okay, so what we've encountered here is a small party of bandits on our way to Ortisia. There's 16 of them. We consider they're looters. We're slightly outnumbered, but since looters tend to run around in sort of tattered rags with kitchen knives and that kind of thing, we should be able to take them down.
We can take them.
Yeah, we can take them. Trusting in Sten's ability to do so as well. Okay, so we're going to threaten them and get straight into this fight. We have a bit of information before the battle as well. We can see details about those troops. We're going to cover that more later in the big battle as well, because there's more to show off. All right, so it's an example of a small battle in the game. And as I mentioned before, it's action, RPG, strategy, and simulation. So essentially what you have in the battles is the action portion of the game, right? It's still an RPG in the sense that you develop your character, you choose your equipment and weapons and that sort of thing. But when it comes to the battles, it's very much player skill. You fire an arrow. If that arrow hits, that's what does damage. Nothing to do with your character. It's purely based on what you do as a player. We've got a few buddies with us, and we've got a nice big two-handed sword. We have a bow and a horse, so we're pretty well equipped. Obviously, we have a lot of different options in the game. You can, a great variety of different medieval weaponry that you can use. You can be hawk-mounted, dismounted, and we have a very direct combat system where, same as the previous games, but even more advanced. The direction that you choose with the mouse, that's how you're going to swing. It's the same with blocking as well. Very much involved. Oh my god! No!
I got this!
Oh god! Oh no! Take them down! Okay, so our advanced AI right now is basically taking us out. Well, one of our new features is that because we have this big two-handed sword, if we land it right, we can actually hit multiple opponents with one swing. We're getting butchered right now.
Stop it!
Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, it's a massacre.
Just about. We really had to carry our companions right there. They evaporated at the start of the battle. All right. Thank you. Good job, Steph.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so before we move on, I mentioned we had the direct control, so it's still the blocking and attacking. We choose a direction, and it's very intuitive, but it's also very deep as well. We have players that have spent hundreds, thousands of hours even mastering and perfecting their abilities in the system. We get some information after the battle as well, the post-battle results. There's quite a lot of detail here as well. You can see Hamizan did okay, but the rest of our companions got completely wiped out, and we really had to carry that battle. Okay, so our enemies that were fortunate enough to get knocked out, we can take those prisoner, and it's a life of slavery for them when we sell them on later. We can also take their some of their weapons and goods. We actually have a crafting piece here that we can loot as well. Let's grab this.
We're going to go into crafting
we'll talk about
later.
That later. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So we can also just take the loot, equip ourselves directly. Let's head to Ortisia. Okay, so I mentioned that was a bandit party. What bandits essentially do, and the reason that we kill them in the game, is because bandits are basically bullies, right? They pick on parties smaller than them. That generally means peasants, farmers, and this causes a problem for us because we really need our peasants and farmers to be making the trip from their villages to the towns, selling their goods, and that's what fuels our economy. As the peasants take their goods to the towns, they get manufactured to secondary goods, sold at the marketplace, and we take a cut of those profits. So we really need all the cogs of our economy working in the simulation to have enough money to pay the wages for our soldiers and then take on the larger battles as well.
Yeah, it's a fully dynamic process, right? So even if something's interrupted while you're not around, while you're doing something else, that will have an effect on the world.
Exactly, and the sort of the brilliant thing about this is as well, you can use this to your advantage, right? You can, if you don't like an enemy lord, you can go and harass all of his villagers, be a bandit yourself essentially, and you can starve his economy, and you'll see the results in the battle. You'll see that he has less troops, lower level troops, he can't afford to pay them, he can't afford to feed them, and everything has a knock-on effect in the sandbox game.
But it will make the battles against that lord easier down the line, yeah.
Exactly. Right, let's jump into a city, and Sten's going to take us through this.
All right, so on the world map, when we come to a city, a settlement, we get this menu, right? With the options that we have. We can go directly to the tavern or join a tournament or visit the lord in his castle. And the reason we give these options here is because exploration is always a choice in Mount & Blade. And we do reward this in Bannerlord in different ways. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pick up a lord, companion I mean, and a bunch of garrison troops that we left here with him. And he is in the tavern, we can see here. We also see a bunch of other information about the city, its walls, its garrison, and we're going to enter the tavern and then we're going to check out the marketplace. All right. So one thing that we have been working on a lot and are still working on is atmosphere and detail in the cities and culture, of course. So companions, travelers, and normal townspeople, they can come into taverns and they drink and they hang out with each other. And this is an imperial city then. So you'll see imperial clothes, hairstyles, and architecture all around the place. Even the board games that we have in this tavern, which you can play, is specific to its culture. And the musician is playing imperial music.
So each faction has their own cultural touchstones that are reflected within the live environment.
Exactly, and it's also apparent on the battlefield in warfare, in different weapons and combat styles. So this is our companion, we can talk to him. We're gonna ask him to rejoin our party with the troops, and we're also gonna ask him to follow us around in town. Because we're gonna need his support later.
Okay, so we've got our army back now, but we're gonna take a bit more of a look around the town and show you some of the ways in which you get rewarded for exploring and some of the sort of gameplay features we have within the town in Bannerlord. All right. So, Stan, take over.
Yes.
Okay, so as we head out the tavern, we find ourselves in the marketplace. We're going to take a little look around this scene, but first of all, we want to get our companion to gather up the rest of our friends in the town. So the guys that we were fighting with before, they're now walking around the town, doing their own thing, and this companion's going to go find them all, gather them, and bring them to our side, and sort of we'll form up our gang. You see one of them has already found its way to us now.
And that feeds into the economy, right? As you gather more troops, you've got to deal with the supplies and and support all the armies that come in.
Yeah. We're now sort of having to feed them and pay their wages and all of that. This is the marketplace in this town. All of the scenes in the game are all unique. So every city has its own town area you can explore. And then they're all obviously culturally based as well. So there's a lot of variety. There's 6 different cultures in the game. You can explore all of them, from the desert to the tundra. And in the marketplace, of course, we can buy and sell goods directly from here. We can also do it from the menus, whatever you want to do as the player.
Is there like a benefit to picking up troops from different cultures? Do they like interact in composition-wise? Do they interact in interesting ways there?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, certain factions have different advantages. I mentioned before the Vlandian faction are enemies. They have particularly strong horsemen. The Empire faction that we're in right now, their advantage is diversity. So they sort of do a bit of everything. They have some good armor as well. They're a great faction to be a part of, especially if you like to experiment with different styles. Okay, so what we're going to show off now is...
I'm waiting for my troops.
Okay, we're waiting for the rest of our guys to show up.
We only have 2.
Some of them, they can be sometimes quite far away in the scene as well, but they'll get here soon.
So is that in like real time? Is he literally running to where the troops are?
Yeah, he's running and picking them all up. Okay, so what we have here, he's back himself now.
Here he comes.
Okay, so now we got a gang.
So what we're going to show off now, by heading into this back alley, is a new feature. It's a highly requested feature, and it's something we're excited about really as well. It's crime. And Sten's going to talk us through this a little bit.
So we see here that we're confronted by a group of thugs. What they've done here is that they've taken over this alley, and they're running some sort of criminal activity here. And we're not going to take any back talk from them, so we're going to... what we can do is we can beat them up and make sure that they don't hang out there.
Go on, get him.
That was easy. So now that we cleared this area of thugs, we also get the option to place one of our own companions here to guard it from other criminal activity to arise. And we can also, if we place the right kind of companion, we can start our own criminal activity here, which generates some sort of money to us. Now, we mentioned that this city belongs to the same faction as we belong to, and we have good relationship with the Lord. So this can, of course, cause a strain in our relationship, but we're going to do it anyway.
Why not?
Yeah.
So you can see we've taken over the alleyway, and all of our hired men are here, looking pretty tough. Okay, so I'm going to hand the reins back to Sten and talk a bit about the private enterprise feature that we have in our game. So I mentioned before that in the marketplace you have a variety of sellers. All the sellers you find in the marketplace, they're essentially, they represent the town. So all the profits that they make go to the local lord. We also have in Bannerlord private enterprise. So this could be owned by not necessarily the local lord, a different lord in the faction, a lord from a different faction. They could be owned by merchants, even the player as well. And so it's a more legitimate way of making money, right, in the game. It's a more legitimate enterprise than taking part in crime. There's lots of different enterprises you can take part in as well. This one happens to be a blacksmith. We have sort of things like potters, weavers, armor smiths, you know, there's a whole bunch of them. Breweries, wineries. Because this is a blacksmith, what we can do is we can craft weapons here as well. We showed this feature off before, but now what we're going to do for the first time ever is make a weapon live on stage, and we're going to take it to the battle and use it to
kill some Vlandians.
Cut up some Vlandian scum, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way crafting works, it's very Mountain Blade. It's we can take any different part, blade, guard, handle, and pommel. Any part fits with any other part, and you're also rewarded for exploring the world with this as well. So, for instance, you might find in the Aserai Desert an interesting pommel that you like, take it with you, and when you head to the tundra in the north, find a blade, put that together, and make your weapon. But it's not just visual either. Every single weapon has every single part, has physical properties, and so you can combine these together in a way which maximizes the different properties of the weapon, right? So you can pick parts which go for maximum reach, maybe high damage, speed, whatever you want to do, or just try and find a balance. In addition, you can scale all of these parts as well. You can scale any of these parts as well. So what you basically have is a system which allows you for a tremendous amount of variation. And just like with the visual face customization, it's a standardized system. So all of the melee weapons in the game also now use this system. It's not just the player weapon. Any weapon you find there is going to be made up of different parts. So what you might do is you might take a lord prisoner, execute him, take his weapon, and then use that to kill his whole family as well. If you want to do that, you can totally do that within our game. It offers you that kind of freedom and depth. And we can also inspect it and take a good look at it in the inventory. Phil's
nice.
Vlandian cutter. You see we're called Phil in the game as well.
Want to make an axe?
Let's make an axe as well, and we can give it to one of our companions. All right. Let's throw in a random.
Okay.
Another one. Okay, great.
This
is perfect, yeah.
Alright, just make it bigger.
Okay, so we can pick this weapon, directly buy it, equip it to our companions, and then I forgot to name it, but that's fine. We get the default name, and then they can just go ahead. And then they can be ready for the fight. Okay.
Didn't work. Mark.
All right, so now that we've got our weapon, we've got our troops, we're going to head out of the town and head towards enemy territory, find a lord, and get into a big battle.
Nice.
So we've got 65 troops now. That's not bad, but Vlandia are pretty tough. So what we can do here is we can find an allied lord on the way, and we're going to speak to him and get him to follow us into the battle, right, to give us some extra power and a better chance in the fight. So this guy Nifon, he's another lord in the same faction. We can get him to follow us, and before we do that, you can see in this dialogue option here we have a hint of our new feature, which is called Influence. How this works is basically a new currency on our game, in addition to money and relation. What we can do is we can spend influence to get this guy to follow us, and it's a bit of like an IOU, right? So we can gain influence by doing work for our faction, spend it, and we can get some sort of command and get people to follow us and do various other tasks and requests like that. Okay, let's grab him and head towards Vlandia.
So influence, that's faction dependent, right? That's,
faction dependent.
So just while we're traveling over, like, one of the things talking to you previously, you've said a lot about the game, is that you've tried to make information more easily accessible.
Yeah, we've worked so much on our
like,
UI.
I assume, like, down the bottom there, everything's sort of within easy reach a lot more.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, the previous game, it was pretty bare bones when it came to UI and the way we displayed information. So what we've done here was we presented on the world map extra information about how much food you have, morale, your current gold, you know, troops, just some various useful little spots just to make it easier to play the game and you know, just streamline the whole process of managing your party and your army. So now that we head towards Vlandia, we're actually gonna fight this guy Ekerend, who's guarding the border. Go ahead.
Yeah, you should wait until morning.
Okay, go for it. So we're going to take you through now a sort of larger battle and show you the ways in which we've improved from the previous games. Obviously, because it's such a central part of the game, it's really important for us to work a lot on it and improve it as much as we possibly can. So Ekerend is going to give us a fairly hostile response because we're at war with him, but he's not necessarily going to attack us on sight. You know, he might feel a bit threatened. We actually outnumber him slightly here. Although he's a bit of a tough old guy, so we might still have a bit of a fight on our hands. Let's just deliver our terms and get straight to the fight. Okay, so we showed you before the pre-battle screen. What we get here is a bit of extra information about the parties involved. We can see Ekerend, and obviously when you have some larger battles, you can have, you know, multiple, dozens of sort of lords on either side, and then get the sort of much bigger fights occurring. Let's just jump in and attack and get into the fight. So obviously all these characters we've met as well, Ekerend and Nifon, they're all going to be in the fight themselves, fighting. Nifon's over there with our cavalry. Ekerend going to be on the other side. So Sten, what's your battle plan here?
First I want to see what the enemy does. They should be on the other side here, and I want to check out what they're doing.
There they are.
So we've really developed the battles a great deal from our previous games, as I mentioned, and we of course have more troops on screen, more than we've ever had in any of our previous games. And on top of that, we've tried to make them much more deep and much more interesting as well. So it's not just about you know, sort of the simple tactics we had in our previous games. Different lords have different behaviors, they have personalities, and they like to play in different ways, like to, you know, command their soldiers according to their personality, and that's reflected on the battlefield itself. In addition to that, lords are much more reactive, they're much more intelligent, so we have sort of much deeper battle gameplay here. We can see Nifon, our allied lord there, with the cavalry. What's your plan then, Sten? It seems like Ekerend he's holding out on this hill.
Yeah, he is. Well, I will get in closer and choose a nearby hill myself.
So we have much more detail in the commands we can give as well. I mean, we can sort of draw out formations on the map, group them up in different ways. There's a great deal of improvement and advancement in actually just commanding the battle itself.
And the other lord that tagged along with you, do you have full control over those?
Because he's following us, yeah. we're the battle leader and we have control of his troops, yeah. He's going to take part as one of the horsemen. So you can see we have obviously Empire troops here as well. So they have their sort of Imperial armors and weaponry. And obviously against Mountain Blade, you know, we have no kind of godlike fantasy powers. We're completely vulnerable in this fight as well, so we have to consider our own self-preservation as we're commanding our troops and moving around the battlefield. One thing also that we have to mention here is that all of these troops, because it's a Mountain Blade game, they all have their own AI, so they're all fighting and deciding their own attacks and blocks and movement in their own way. There's nothing sort of, it's not a general AI, it's all for the individual troops. And then we have obviously the level of AI which is tactical as well, which is controlling the formations that are happening on the battlefield. There's a bunch of cool new AI features as well, so they have like self-preservation. So if they feel that they're too far away from their buddies and their allied soldiers, they're going to run back into formation and sort of rethink what they're doing as well.
So what I want to do here is, I see that there's a dip in the landscape in between these two hills. And I want to lure the other lord and some of his troops, or all of them, down here, so that if I get the upper hand and they try to flee, they have to run upwards, and that way I can catch them better. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's going to respond to this, but I'm gonna put my infantry down there to maybe get some of his troops to attack me, and then I'll be ready with my horsemen. Actually, I should put them in a flank position.
We want to draw him off his hill.
Right.
And obviously we have.
Oh, they're already coming. Okay.
Ekron's gone for the charge. Oh my God, no! So we're sending in our cavalry for the counter charge right now. Ekron has decided that he's gonna catch us in the valley while he's weak. And he's hit our troops with quite a bit of momentum there as well. And so what we're having to do is send our cavalry in, and the fight is obviously now starting to break out into a bit of mayhem. We do have some archers though, and so they're able to fire into the fight. Obviously, we can join the battle as well, so if we maybe try and help out some of those troops.
Let me see if I can find Ekron himself.
Oh, that's nice. And so we're using the sword which we crafted, obviously, in this battle as well. It's already doing some damage. So the Vlandian Knight charge is pretty strong, but we've managed to do a pretty good job of taking it down. We still have to deal with those soldiers on the hill though, so if we sort of regroup and make our way back up towards them. Did we see Ekron at all?
No, I haven't said.
Okay. It's obviously helpful to take out your enemy commander as well, but he might have already been taken down. Oh, geez. Okay, so let's make our way towards the troops up on the hill and see if we can really push them out of his position.
Ah, they're coming down. Great.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be joining the charge anyway. They've got a bit of momentum as they come down the hill towards us, but I think we have slightly more troops left on the battlefield. And you can still oh my, what are you doing? You can see it's still very much Mountain Blade. If we could dismount here perhaps and get stuck into the fight as well.
Yeah.
We want to draw all of our troops right now and do sort of the final push and
it's just a flesh wound.
Take out the last of Ekron's troops. Okay, I think we're just about getting the upper hand.
There we go.
Nice.
I need this. Thank you. Oh.
So it just popped up there, earning skill points and stuff. That's still, the whole RPG side is still there. You've got all your skills you can level up.
Oh no!
Oh!
What happened?
I got messed up.
Okay.
It's cool. A new feature in Bannerlord.
New feature, yeah. So when we get taken out, you're no longer forced to sort of go through the simulation. You can watch the rest of the fight. Although we now can't give any more orders, so we're reliant on our troops to take care of the rest of this fight. And we can of course finish it quickly and let the simulation play out, but we're also free to watch what's happening. We get some extra information as well if we bring up the tactical screen. We can see exactly how the battle's going. So currently we're just about winning. The majority of Ekron's army is taken down. We can see how all our troops are doing there as well in terms of the kills they're getting, how many have ran away, how many have been wounded, killed.
And the fact that we've been taken out will have an effect on their morale.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think we're doing well enough to see it through though. We've got quite a few troops left. I think it's just a case of taking down the last few. Here we are, yeah. So the quality of our troops is enough to see us through the battle, and this is going to advance the Southern Empire war effort against the Kingdom of Flandia. Yeah, great work, guys. Okay, so as we head out now to the post-battle screen, as I mentioned, we get the extra information there. We can see that our Imperial Horsemen did particularly well.
Ekron just got wounded. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, Ekron only got 1 kill.
Yeah.
How did our allied lord do? Nifon?
One kill.
Not too well either. We didn't do too well, to be honest, so we can't really we can't criticize. Okay, so let's head out, and once again we get to take prisoners. We can upgrade our troops from here as well. Let's just grab a few. Yeah, perfect. And obviously we get much more loot here as well. We can take some of their supplies. We can equip ourselves directly from this screen. Nice. All right, so once we head out, hopefully you can see now how all the different parts of the game, the working economy, the strategic aspect, they all come together and they influence each other. So the battles that we have, they have a much wider impact. Now the Valandian faction is weakened. We can go forward. Maybe we'll be able to assault Charas later on. This is actually the end of our demo right now, though. So thank you very much.
We'll have another one tomorrow.
Okay, and if anybody has any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, a special.
Yeah, we'd love
Excellent.
to take some questions.
Hi there. Is this working? Oh, right.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Try now.
Hi. Oh, there we go. So I've been thinking about the old Mountain Blade and Mountain Blade Warband was very mod compatible. So there's a lot of mods for Mountain Blade Warband.
Right.
Will you be having mod tools from launch, or will that be sort of continuing the tradition of having it so freely modded?
Sorry, I just couldn't quite. I know it's about modding, but I
Closer.
couldn't quite hear the
Will there
question.
be mods?
Yes.
Basically.
Modability is like greatly expanded. We can also combine multiple mods, so we have a system for that as well. And obviously, what modders are capable of doing in the new engine that we have for the game is above and beyond what we've offered before. So absolutely, of course,
We love mods.
We love mods. Yeah, it's a staple of the series, and we're excited to be bringing them back. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, it is fantastic to see that's the great battle of the Mountain Blade. But there's another question we would like to ask: what's exactly the maximum player or the NPC can fit into the same battle?
Okay, maximum number of troops in the battle.
Yeah.
I'm going to slightly dodge this question because, it's much more than Warband, and we have an engine which is capable of dealing with much more troops. But we're also trying to balance it out and make sure that the battles are not just large, but also very interesting tactically as well. So we're going for as high as we can, but we can't say a number right now, unfortunately.
It's not really our focus to...
we want to make more, but we can't.
Yeah.
I can't give you a number right now, but definitely more and
Just
and
bigger.
better. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hi there. So I was wondering, when you went up to check out the
Sorry,
other general.
I still just a little bit quiet.
Oh, when you went up on top of the hill to look at the other general.
I can't go. Sorry.
So, is that better?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Right. Okay. You went up to look at the other general, and he was sat on top of the hill, and he kind of seemed to wait for you to come towards him.
Yeah.
I was wondering what determines the general's strategy and AI in those instances.
Good question. Okay, so what we have is, in addition to sort of like skills that we had in the previous games, lords will have their own personality traits as well. So Ekron happens to be a sort of lord that plays defensive. He plays his cards close to his chest. So what he does is he tends to be more passive in battles. Also, because in that battle we were the aggressor, it's sort of the onus is on us to attack as well. So he can sort of get away with playing defensive because if we do nothing, then we will just lose the battle in essence. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I also wondered though if there was any way that you could. Is that message to the player at all that you understand what sort of general that is before you fight?
We can't show the UI for that right now, but it's in the sort of the in-game encyclopedia that some of that information is communicated. It's also communicated through dialogues and various other ways that the player will be able to understand what kind of person the Lord is, and obviously the more you play the game, you get to know the different characters, and it will affect how you battle them as well, of course.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
I was curious about the crafting system. Usually in old games, like I felt in like Mount & Blade Warband, which I played the most, I felt I had no real need for money other than buying equipment. But with the crafting system, this kind of eliminate that need. Because can you make master crafted equipment basically? Can you make the top tier equipment without buying it?
The top tier equipment without buying it?
Yeah.
So what we have is with the... Wait, I'm not totally sure what the question was, sorry.
As in Warband, you'd have to run around to different towns and stuff if you wanted to get like the best bow or... Because you just kind of had to wait for it to spawn. With crafting equipment, will that kind of eliminate that from the game? Because I found that kind of frustrating.
Well, we don't have crafting. Armors are not crafted. It's just the melee weapons.
Okay.
You know, the way in which armors are sort of spawned in sort of marketplaces and among merchants, it's still random. So you're still gonna have to search around to get the top equipment, of course. But what we have is that we don't really have like a best armor, right? You know, there's sort of advantages and disadvantages now. So yeah, obviously you have to explore to still get it the top armors. But with weapons, you can kind of gather them up and then assemble it to create the best weapon that you want.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I hope that answered your question. Sorry.
Wanted to ask two things. First, will the crafting system also work in the multiplayer part of the game?
We can't talk about that just yet.
Okay. Makes sense.
Sorry.
And also, how are the political options inside the game? One of the best things of Warband was playing vassals one against the other and starting civil wars, these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean we have greatly expanded political options. We can't talk about all of them right now, but obviously the way you use the influence the system to sort of impact different lords and their behavior, that's going to help you can use it to advance your political standing. One new feature we have as well is we have clans within the factions, right? So families, they're kind of grouped together. And so the way that which you have a relationship with one character is going to affect how his brother-in-law thinks of you as well, and all that kind of thing. So there's greatly sort of improved and sort of deepened diplomacy in the game, of course.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so does the feudal system in the Mount & Blade 2 remain the same as the Warband, which is the two-tier feudal system, the king and the vassals? Does that happen the same in Mount & Blade 2, or it's a bit different?
Yeah, again, we have the king. Each faction has a sort of a monarchic ruler, and then there's the vassals below that as well.
So there's no system like barons, earl, or...
Well, what you have is they're still ranked as vassal, but I mean, the influence that different lords have in the kingdom is gonna vary based on if they're sort of the owner of a town or just the owner of a village. So that different lords are gonna have different amounts of sort of power and sway in the faction, but they're all lords, yeah.
All right, so they remain the same title.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Is that all of them? Okay. Anyone else?
Okay. Have we got a release date yet? How long before I'll be able to say, shut up and take my money?
We were waiting for this question. Okay. So we want to have it in some form, whether it's beta or how whatever we do. We want to have it in some form in the players' hands this year. That's what we're going for. But it's not a guarantee, but that's what we're shooting for.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
One more question. Hey.
Right. Hello. Right. So if we take over a faction, for example, the town that's currently on the map, if we want to recruit troops or such from it, will the faction's culture change over time, or will it still be the same as Mount & Blade Warband, where it sticks with one culture regardless of where you take? Like, you know, in Mount & Blade Warband, if you took over a village, if you took over a castle or town or whatever, the villagers always had the same faction. If you took over a village on Mount & Blade Warband, the factions always had the same culture regardless, like on the villagers. Will that be different on Bannerlord, where if you take over a village, will the will the villagers' culture change, so the troops recruit are different?
The culture is location dependent, so it's you recruit the troops from that area, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to say, put your hands together and say thanks very much for the team from Mountain Blade.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks guys. A lot.
Hello, and welcome to our Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord Siege gameplay demonstration for E3 2016. What you see in this video represents the game in its current state, so there's still some polishing to be done and edges to be rounded. However, this should give you a good feeling of how sieges play in Bannerlord. We hope you enjoy it. Hello, and welcome to our Siege Defense gameplay demonstration for Gamescom 2016. What you see in this video represents the game in its current state, so there's still some polishing to be done and edges to be rounded. This time, we're showing the defender perspective of a Britannian town siege as we hold out against an army of the Western Empire.